hold the line for me while I go to her?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, yes, yes, how can I assist you?
Hi, is it Jenny speaking?
Yes, it's Jenny.
It's Dwayne speaking. How are you?
I'm well, and you?
Okay, thank you. I've been trying for a long time to speak to you regarding this case because I need it to be finalized now. And I want to know if
registration of marriage.
It was the rectification of the marriage register.
Okay, I remember this case. I did escalate it through to the head office.
But I don't understand, again, when I've explained it to every other person that I've spoken to, why is it taking so long? All the is it not possible for you to speak to the official? Surely you have a contact telephone number that you speak to.
Yes, we do have, but this is just the second line that we escalate to. So when we speak to them, they just take the case number and they go to the relevant section to find out what's happening.
Well, obviously someone isn't finding out what's happening. That's the whole problem here.
Your case was escalated through. I can see the supervisor that we escalate to did escalate to the agent that is working on your case. Let me just check quickly. On the 10th month, on the 2nd, kindly assist and finalize the case. So there hasn't been anything as yet.
You see, that's more than a month ago.
Yeah, there hasn't been any feedback as yet. So we'll need to re-escalate it.
But who or why hasn't it been re-escalated in all the other times that I've phoned?
Because of what happens is that the case is in their queue. We only escalate when you call.
But I have called numerous times since October 2nd.
We escalate, but it means that the supervisor then didn't update on the case, whether he did escalate to the agent that is in charge of it.
Jenny, I think the Home Affairs doesn't seem to understand the urgency I'm dealing with here. The court has extended and all the court dates and appearances because I have to produce this document. If I don't produce this document, I'm the one that is going to lose out on claiming back property that was technically stolen during the war when Hitler was in rule. It goes back to that far already. And if I can't prove ownership of a piece of property because there's a date wrong on it's a birth date, it's not as if it's something else crazy and the wife's four names. It's only adding another name to it, and all the supporting documents have been provided. If I don't prove that, I'm the one that's the court's going to say this. They've granted me till the end of this month is the last extension, and after that, it's sorry, tough luck then for you. We've given you countless times, and I'm the one that's constantly stressing here because I don't know what else to do, because I keep phoning, I keep trying to get this thing to get somewhere, and the other person's just saying, oh, well, I find that they probably just look at it and they go, oh, another case number, delete. It's the same thing. We'll deal with it when we deal with it.
I think, to be quite honest, it doesn't work like that, okay?
Well, I feel that's how it's working. I know it probably doesn't work like that. But
I understand, but in my experience, I'm also having a challenge, especially when it comes to rectifications. Especially if it's for an unabridged, because of when they print, you did get the unabridged marriage certificate, am I correct?
I got a copy of that, yes, but it was incorrect.
Because of what they do is that they use the marriage register that was filled in by both parties when they were getting married. Okay.
Yes, I
understand. To print out an unabridged birth certificate, they use that. So meaning that they need to go back to the record. I don't know how they do it. I don't know whether they change the record or what they do, but I'm also having a bit of a difficulty, especially when it comes to cases for rectifications. I've got a lot that have not yet been resolved.
But why is no one allowed to then speak to this official? Who can one complain to? Because obviously that person
isn't doing their job. That's the only way you can complain. You can send an email to CSP and say it's a complaint. It will go through to the head office, to the people that are in charge of complaints.
Well, who is in charge of this rectification? Okay. Who is the official dealing with? Because one has to name the person.
We can't even give out the names. The only issue is that this is second line, so this is not the person that deals with rectification. He needs to go to that section to get assistance. And to be honest, as I'm saying, I'm also having a Rectification, to be quite honest, it's a nightmare when it comes to...
How long have you been sitting with these other rectifications?
It's been a while. I've got one that I've been sitting with for more over than a year and a half now.
Okay, now mine is more than 2 years old. Now, that's why I don't understand why this is taking more than 2 years to sort out.
To be quite honest, I don't even have answers for you. What you can do is you can send through an email to this email address that I'll give you as a complaint. Because I've been escalating the case as well. I'm not getting any feedback.
Don't you speak to the people that are there via telephone? Do you only communicate via email?
We do speak via telephone and email.
So why can't...
That's what I'm saying to you. The people that we escalate to, they are called second line. They don't do amendments. They don't do rectifications. When I call the person that I escalate to, he just takes a case number and he updates to say, I've received a call from Jenny pertaining this case number. He sends it through to the person that is in charge of your case. Please assist. That's it. It's not a matter of if you call them, they will say, hey, hold on, let's go to that section. No. They just take a case number, that's it. It's the same as email.
Well, there seems to be a problem with that system then.
They refer it back. The person will refer it back to the person that is in charge of your case. The person that is in charge of your case needs to then go back to that section and find out what's happening.
But, how can I try and get this done? I have 15 days, and that includes weekends to the end of this month.
I'll re-escalate. I'll write in the email that this is very urgent. There's a property at stake in a please assist. But I cannot guarantee that by then you will have it.
Well, no, you can't guarantee because you're not the one that can do anything. You don't have the authority. It's the person dealing with it. But now I will then have to just send an email again to, is it what is it again?
CSC.
CSC at dha.gov.
Yes.
CSC at dha.gov.za. Because I am so frustrated with this because I don't understand how difficult it is. All the documents have been provided. Everything is there. I've got no words left to even say because I'll just keep repeating myself over and over, and I don't know what else to say because it's just so ridiculous. But now, why can't you speak to the person? Obviously, because I'm the only link, or you are the only link between me and the official that is dealing with. Why can't you speak to their supervisor?
We escalate to their supervisor, so we are not allowed to speak to the agent. We escalate to the supervisor. The supervisor escalates to the agent that is in charge of your case.
But then that supervisor, doesn't he have a supervisor?
I'm not sure how their line is in terms of reporting.
Because I'm wondering if it's not easier to actually just then speak.
I think to be quite honest, the problem is the record because of, as I'm saying to you, when you apply for an unabridged merit certificate, they use the record. So do they need to go back and change the record? What if on the record it's that is written? What proof do we have it's not that on the original record?
Yes, what proof have you got now? They understand. What I've given you is the birth certificate, the original birth certificate.
No, we are not talking about the birth certificate. Listen to what I'm saying. When your mother and your father get married, they fill in a marriage register, which is called the BI30. They fill in their names, they write their date of birth, where they were born and stuff. What if on that marriage register, that's the date of birth?
I don't think they filled it in. I think it was filled in for them. Remember, she was Polish in 1954. I don't think she even understood a word of English. Now,
the unabridged birth certificate is derived from that BI30. Whatever that is on that BI30 is the unabridged marriage certificate.
Now, also at the time, it was written on that vault copy, as well as I've got numerous copies.
You've got the vault copy and the unabridged.
Yes, it says.
Are they saying the same thing?
Yes, it does, but that is why it was applied for it to be rectified, and the document. Pardon?
I'm saying we get that it was applied for it to be rectified, but the problem is it's very difficult for the head office to change the original record. A vault copy, sir. A vault copy. You know what a vault copy is? It's a copy of that marriage certificate. That's what of the marriage register. That's what a vault copy is. So somebody else can come back later and say you are the father and you are not born on this date. Should we just change it? It doesn't work like that.
But why do they not file the supporting document showing the proof that it is incorrect?
Is your mother still alive?
Yes, or all of that stuff was provided.
I'm saying is she still alive?
Yes.
I don't know, maybe then they will change it, but I think then they would, I'm not sure.
Both are still alive, and the thing is that the birth certificate, which is originally in Polish, with the English translation, all certified from Poland, plus because at the time of the marriage, the birth certificates were not available, so they couldn't verify, they just went on, and I think there was a problem, and they only realize it now, because they never thought in their wildest dreams that the Polish government would be offering to give back property that was seized by Nazis from Germany who pushed the Polish people out to take over that country.
That's something very different. What I'm trying to get at here is that it's very difficult for the head office to change records. So at the end of the day, you are saying that you've been waiting for your application for 2 years, we get it, but that is what your mother wrote when she got married. That is what she wrote. So how do they go back and change the original record?
It's not her handwriting. That handwriting is of the marriage officer.
No, so on a BI-30, it's your handwriting, you sign. I cannot write for you on a BI-30. I cannot solemnize a marriage for you and write for you. It's impossible. It's impossible. So you need to let the head office...
One can only sign. I'm sure, because all that writing is the same.
So you can't say that. You can't say that a person is getting married, but the marriage officer is the one that is writing for them. It's not fair also to us, the Department of Home Affairs, because that is what is written on the record. You say, give us the record, we're giving you the record of what is written.
But this took place in 1954.
We will escalate the case.
Your policies and things have changed since 1954.
I'll escalate the case and we'll see if they will be able to rectify it.
They have to be able to, because I've provided all the proof necessary supporting that to show that it is incorrect.
We get that proof, but the most important thing is the record. You got a vault copy, am I correct?
Yes.
You got an unabridged. The vault copy and the unabridged, they are saying the same thing. It was going to be a different situation if the vault copy was saying something and the unabridged was saying something else. They are both saying the same thing. They are both telling you what the person wrote when they were getting married. And then you are coming back again and saying, listen, it's wrong, change it. But it's on the original record.
But if the original record is wrong,
how do we change the original record? It's the same thing. When you go get married, you fill in a form called the BI-30. We take it, we archive it. How do we change it? What do we write? Do we just scratch it out? Do we just scratch that 1967 out and write the correct one? It's a brand new record again. What if you come back again and you said, no, I didn't say scratch it out. This is the correct one.
No, because you'll have all these telephone conversations with all my emails and all my faxes as proof that I have sent to you, that it has been instructed. Even the forms have been refilled in new forms with all the proof. I mean, all the originals. Let me just see here. The one form that was filled in and signed as an affidavit, it wasn't an affidavit, it was... I think it was that BI-30 form that had to be filled in again. Let me just... BI-45E form that showed... It said here... Let me just find it. I have it here somewhere. BI-45E, it was a sworn affidavit written in the handwriting of these two specific people. Renata Shenton and Brian Beverly, both written out by them, and the notary public in London even stamped and signed it. That they all say, yeah, please note, this is wrong, this is wrong, that is wrong, and it's all been faxed through and emailed through. So it's all there, all the documents are on the computer. They can file that with the original record and say, because surely you keep all of the stuff in one place. Why must you have 10 different places to store one person's documents? It makes no sense to me. So if it's not filed with it to show, okay, well, there's the proof supporting the changes. Okay, it's right, it's fine, it must be done. I find that's as simple as it is, but someone is not doing it. And why they must go back to...
I think, to be honest, it's not as simple as that. I think everybody that is calling in thinks that whatever that you change on the Department of Home Affairs is as simple as that. It's not as simple as that. If it was, then I could change my names on a daily basis or whatever record that they have of me. It's not as simple as that. You just don't go to...
No, but you can't... How much you change your name without proof of that's
even
a different
thing. Even if you have the proof, you need to go back and do an investigation and find out what happened. You can't just change. If I could change, then I could just go and change and take your names. because of I'm running away from something, or criminals could just come and say, guys, this is the proof. It's not my name, change it, and we just change it. It doesn't work like that. You can't just change something just like that. Even if you have proof, they need to do a thorough investigation and see what happened, and then they will change it. But the only problem that we have is that we don't have time frames. We can't say that they'll change it within 1 year or 2 years. We don't have that. But what I will do is that I will send an email to the supervisor and say this is very urgent because there's a property at stake in the please assist with this case because it's been pending for 2 years.
I'd really appreciate that, Jenny. It's
yes,
just,
I'm going to do that.
If you can do that, I would really, really appreciate it.
I'm going to do that now because the agent that you were speaking to just sent me the case number. So I'll escalate and I'll say this is very urgent. There's a property at stake and they please assist in rectifying the date of birth.
I mean, it's only the date of birth. It's by 1 year. It's not as if it's changing it completely, making her 20 years or 30 years younger. It's by changing it just for one date because it's 1930. It's supposed to be 1934, I think, and it shows 1935. And her forename is still Renata, but it must include her very forename, which is Liliana. Many people go by a certain name if they've got double names. And obviously she just wrote down one name, being Polish and not understanding English too well. You know, in 1954, I don't think many people, maybe the marriage officer was Afrikaans, and Polish and Afrikaans are completely different languages. So that maybe there was a bit of a barrier. So I understand that it was incorrect at that time, but they didn't know that it was incorrect until now that they had to prove it. They were given opportunity to, and they were obviously notified to say, well, listen here, this property originally belonged to this person, and because of that one technicality of the birth date being wrong, by 1 year, the Polish government is refusing to honor the return of the property, and it's all because of that. Now, you know,
we understand, so I will escalate. But it also goes back to the same thing to say, when you solemnize the marriage and you are registered, you get a marriage certificate. You get a marriage certificate.
Yes,
so
I know.
That these people have been sitting with a marriage certificate with the wrong date of birth for all these years and not coming back and saying it's wrong, and you're only coming back now 10 years or 15 years later or 10, 20 years later to say it's wrong.
Well, 54 to now is...
How many years later?
50, it's almost 60 years.
It's almost 50 years. Do you understand? And then you're only coming back now to say it's wrong because of you do get a marriage certificate. On that marriage certificate already, it will show that the date of birth is wrong. You come back and you say it's wrong. But you only come back after 50 years, and then the head office is supposed to go to the archives and just change it just like that. But anyway, let me escalate it and let me see how far I can get with it.
I'd appreciate it because it's something that has to be done. It can't not be done. And I'm
not sure, sir. I cannot say it will be done or it cannot be done or it will be done. I cannot say on that, but let me escalate it to the supervisor for assistance.
Yeah, and just one other thing. If someone had to, and I'm going to use an example because you say because I've got proof doesn't mean anything. I find that erroneous. It can't be. What happens if someone comes and proves land belongs to them from 1900, they all of a sudden their ancestors and their children and they're this person and their cousin, and eventually it all comes down like at the time when everyone was displaced from Site 6 in Cape Town. And then they say, but we are the legal owners of that property. Then it gets returned to them, even if it's 50 or 100 years later, because they were forcibly removed. It's the same principle in Poland, where they were forcibly removed by the Nazis, which would have been the same as the apartheid government, removing people and pushing them away and saying, well, we are taking this land, and tough titty if you don't want, if you live here or not. We are going to take it because we are in power. And that's the same thing that I'm sitting with here. And yes, it was incorrect at the time, but unfortunately, no one knew. Back then, they owned the property. It wouldn't have made a difference. But because they were forcibly removed, now they have to prove ownership of the property, because all those documents that probably were there before have all probably been burned by everyone, or, there was a lot of unrest in the world in that time. Now they have to try and prove it, and because one date is wrong, Now there's a technicality on which it cannot be approved.
Mm.
Now, that's why it was applied with all the original documents. Luckily, she had an original birth certificate showing her name and her date of birth. And yes, if you look at the numbers even in Polish versus the numbers in English, they are different. It's like Arabic numbers look different to the English letters. You know, there was obviously a barrier there. And unfortunately, it happened, and now they've come across that it needs to be rectified. That's why this process has been started, to try and get it done. Because, and again I'm going to repeat, they didn't know that they were going to be given the opportunity to reclaim that piece of valuable property which was forcibly taken from them. I mean, it's not fair. And now to tell me that even if I've got proof showing that that doesn't matter, that it makes me very upset and sad, because
if the head office does their own investigation, I can come and say your ID is mine, and I'll have all the proof in the world. I'll have your date, your unabridged birth certificate. I'll have your birth certificate that I would have bought somewhere or something, and say this ID number, no matter what, it's mine. The head office.
But we're not changing people.
What will they do? What they will do is that they will do their own investigation to find out what is it that happened. So that, as I'm saying, we can all come with our proof and say, this is not my ID number, or this is not my date of birth, change it. It doesn't work like that. But let me escalate and we'll take it from there.
I mean, it's, 1 year. It's not like we are changing a complete person and making her, Rebecca.
That 1 year. That 1 year is a lot, sir.
But it's still the same day.
Because of, remember,
the same month.
The head office is in charge of the National Population Register.
Yes,
and not
I
just say
understand
to me, just changing one figure on the NPR doesn't matter. It matters a lot. It makes a whole lot of a difference. It's not as easy as that. You cannot just come and say, change this, and we change it. It doesn't work like that. They also need to go back and do their investigation and see if we change, what will happen. Will it affect somebody else? Will this person have an ID number same as this person? There's a lot of things that need to happen. So let me escalate the case through to the head office and we'll take it from there. You can call back maybe next week to find out if there's any feedback.
I'll do that, and I'll send an email as well to the CSC.
You can send an email to the CSC.
Where does the CSC email end up?
At the head office or in our center.
Okay. Well, I'll do that then.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for all your assistance, Jenny. Have a nice day and weekend.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.